All right, guys, welcome. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody. Get yourselves in. Welcome to all of you that are live with us. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to everybody. All right. So it's been an interesting one in the market recently. We're seeing the price on all fronts behaving very strangely. So many things that are happening right now that is just so don't even know what the best word is to use, but just so telling of what was going on, you know. So I want you guys to kind of stay diligent because what we have going on in terms of the price action is probably some of the most interesting price action we've seen in a very long time. And I'll definitely say for you guys to just keep your eyes peeled on what's going on. For me, in these markets right now, I'm keeping myself engaged, ready to go at all times, keeping my eyes peeled on whatever's going on, because I know it's going to be a crazy one. So again, guys, we want to dive into the price. I'm just giving everybody a chance to get in before we start moving. All right, get yourselves in. Make sure that you're on. Okay. All right, so let's look at Bitcoin. So, I mean, for me, guys, Bitcoin right now is in a very interesting place. So if we recap over the history of Bitcoin, I'm going to start from the weekly perspective, okay? And delete all the lines here. Let's have a look at what's going on. All right. So one of the major things that I'm looking at with Bitcoin at the moment is that on the weekly structure here, when the body of the candle during those 2 weeks of July, where the body of the candle broke beneath the area, then returned above it, this break of demand from the beginning of the year lets me know that at some point, sooner or later, the market is going to enter into areas of demand which are not, which are below this point, back to down at least 16 for me anyway. Now, again, we have this algorithmic level here, which is the only weekly one that exists. And that's that price point where the price touched is exactly the same day of what we call Bitcoin Day now, when El Salvador announced Bitcoin as legal tender within their country. So at the moment, we're in this market here, and I'm going to zoom into the daily. Let's look at where we've been really looking at. So if I go to the daily structure here and I zoom in, I mean, the major thing that we can say that we should be considering is this point right here. So look at this. Look at where we are right now. Bitcoin is at a major deciding point right now. And this is very, very important why I brought this up already. If you want to know what the market or what Bitcoin is going to do, I would suggest for sure, please keep your eyes peeled on this point. So at this price point that we are at right now, okay, this supply zone here, when we had the initial short after the all-time high for now was created on Bitcoin at 64. This was a very instrumental supply zone in the last leg of short action before we saw any bullish activity here. So for me at the moment here, this supply zone, when the price broke above here on the 9th of August and returned, we had a continuation for a bullish run until Bitcoin Day when the price decided to give us a strong drop. Now, so far, okay, the attempt for the 50K mark wasn't hit, but what the price has done instead has used the demand zone responsible for this kind of last long leg and broken beneath and returned to the other side and given us a short, which is a very strong signature for bearish pressure. Now, again, I told you guys that this supply zone is a very important price range because it tells us where we are in terms of supply and demand on a more macro scale. Okay, apart from on-chain analytics. Why do I say this? Well, this supply zone here, when the price was beneath here, we were in this kind of, if you want to call it, crash phase. And then on the upside here, when the price broke above it was positive and should be on our way for a run. Now, for the price to close back beneath here means that the supply conditions currently on the market, without looking at any on-chain data, is suggesting that the price should be back into supply and start to drop low. And now on the way up, because there was such a strong bullish run up, I know that there were many market inefficiencies that the price did do. Now, for me, looking at this, and what the market has just done literally in the last couple of days, which is what we've had a break beneath. And what has the price done? We have a reoptimization of supply for demand, all right, with a reversal signature. So to me right now, Bitcoin, it looks like a very strong sell. Okay, not saying that you should sell your Bitcoin. Hear me very carefully. For financial advice reasons, the final decision of what you do is down to you. Okay, and to seek a financial advisor. I'm not a financial advisor, so please make sure that you follow the correct protocols there. But what I can say from the price structure is that Bitcoin has another sell on the way, and this sell should bring the price back down to what I was saying quite a few months back. I'm sure I sounded crazy, but technicals don't lie, guys. Where the money is in the market doesn't lie. We have this area here, which was a demand zone and then a supply zone. And I expect the market to fill out the inefficiency between these two lines, these two candles here. And so I do expect a lower Bitcoin. Now, for me, I'm watching carefully how the price behaves when it gets here. Because I told you there's inefficiencies at these lows here that I expect the price to go for. And it only takes the right news event really to cause the price of Bitcoin to start to do, these kind of movements. So for me, I don't believe Bitcoin is done shorting. And for that reason, when I do my analysis on Monday, I like to just allow the market to have that one day to do what is done. So from the reversal signature, we've seen that the market has broke structure. Even if it was to use a trend line here, you could use it. I don't use trend lines because I don't trade with them. But we have break of market structure for sure, and the price has returned to the supply zone that initiated this strong short that we saw on Friday. All right, now the price is moving even further short, which gives me the idea that the price is going to continue in this direction. Now, what could we say here? Well, if I go to the 15-minute, all right, just very vaguely, this is still a very large time frame, but on the 15-minute here, this is the demand zone of the day for now anyway. So if there's any close beneath this, guys, and a return, then I would suggest that Bitcoin will be going for a short. And so for that would be a trigger for me to look to get some rebuys. And if it does go short, guys, I'm expecting the price to do quite a strong short, to be very frank with you. I don't think the shorting is done just yet. The price action is shown very strong bearish price action signatures, which from the day that we had this reaction here for Bitcoin Day, I knew what the price was trying to do here. Okay, and interestingly enough, the low of Bitcoin Day is where we are right now. So if the price breaks below the low of Bitcoin Day, I believe we're going to get a very strong sell. Now, for us trading crypto is going to be great because that's great risk to reward on the potential move down. If we get this trade here, my stop loss won't be £134 for sure, but we're looking at a good 480 on the drop there. It just takes the right piece of news. So I would say, guys, that this market is highly sensitive to fundamental news, of course. It's very new right now. And so any news that comes out in the next couple of days about, negative about crypto, especially about Bitcoin or any developments or clampdowns of regulation, things like that will send the price down. So I'm keeping my eyes on this. As a trade, it's a good one. If you're holding crypto, it's a good opportunity for a rebuy. But when we look at Bitcoin in terms of the overall perspective, I do expect it to continue going strongly bullish. Okay, this is what markets do, guys. I think when you're a new investor and you get into crypto and every day is green, it kind of gets you into this point where you become a sport brat that even if the price does 10%, you're upset, like, oh, why didn't you do 100x? But in order for a market to mature, it needs to go through testing. Okay. Every financial market that you've been involved in, if you haven't been anything apart from crypto, then that's cool. But every financial market that I've been involved in had a period of time where it behaved like Bitcoin. Okay, there was resistance to adoption. There was not enough liquidity, not enough adoption, just things of that nature, which causes volatility. Okay. Now, I believe Bitcoin's volatility is about 86 out of 100. So it's about 8 times more volatile than the S&P 500, for example. And so that means the price movements of 10% is like, for example, I don't know, US 30, S&P 500 or indexes moving by 1%, which is normal. All right. So even though Bitcoin is going short, I'm thinking about the long-term perspective. Now, because Bitcoin has done such a strong long, if you've bought in at the top here, it's not nice to hear that Bitcoin could potentially be doing a crazy, drop down, but for me, we just have to face the reality that most likely is going to happen. And since that's most likely going to happen, you want to be prepared for that. So depending on now, if you're holding for the long term, I wouldn't say for me, what I would say, let me rephrase this. If it was me personally, okay, for the long term, because I'm holding for the long term, I wouldn't go and sell my crypto because the price is going to drop by 30 or 40%. Okay, if it's going to drop by 80%, 90, I understand that because nobody wants to be in a drawdown for that long because the next bull cycle probably won't be for another 4 years, okay, until the next Bitcoin halving happens. So essentially, this period of time that we're in right now, this epoch of time, I would say I understand, if the price is going to, projecting to crash heavily, then maybe you might want to do that. But for now, I don't think the price is going to crash that crazily. I mean, I know of what I've said, and I do see there's a liquidity gap on Bitcoin all the way back down, the lowest one anyway, there's quite a few, all the way back down to 9,600. So just beneath 10K, which is healthy. If Bitcoin gets there, if Bitcoin is going to do well and, crypto is going to do well, then it needs to be able to face tough times, guys. So these crashes that you see shouldn't be something that makes you upset, but rather it should make you, how can I put this? It should make you more appreciative of, just more appreciative if Bitcoin survives all of these things. Now, Bitcoin has already been through a lot since 2009. It's been through many cycles of different things that could have wiped out Bitcoin, but it's still here. Just with other cryptocurrencies, there are many things that have happened to them that could have wiped out cryptocurrencies off the face of the earth, but they haven't. So I believe that this period of time is nice to see the market, doing these things. And you can actually, for me, I'm seeing it more that there's opportunity to kind of make some good gains whilst the market is going short. For me, I trade crypto primarily because I can use my currency as an employee, in this case, the pounds in my account, trade, make some profit, and put that money back into buying the dips. That's really what I see it as. Okay, if you see it that way, then it doesn't hurt so bad. So if you're not trading crypto, I would suggest maybe getting involved because, when the shorts do happen, which I expect to happen, they do produce quite good money. Okay, so I mean, looking at the price action that we have going forward, I would say, ideally, this is what you really want to go for. Now, when we look at Bitcoin here, it is in the valley of decision. And even though I've said what I've said, I'm going to bring up this marking here. So this marking here, we have reversal signatures on Bitcoin for both a long and a short. At the moment the short is playing out. Now, how we would know, or what I would say personally, if you want to know, okay, if I was, you're not my financial advisor, we both agree. Okay, cool. But I'm not your financial advisor, I should say. But if we were to say, okay, well, Mike, what do you think when do you think would be maybe a good time possibly to start looking to rebuy lower or get some dips or something? Well, for me, Bitcoin has been balancing in this range between just below 40,000, so 39,600, up to this point about 45, let's just call it 45K, all right? 45,100, around that region here. So we have about, I would say, not a large range, but just approximately about a 6K range that we're operating in at the moment. 6K range is about 10% or 10 to 15% range. So what I'm doing for my own self personally is, for example, as a trader, if I see the signature, and this is important, if you want to keep this marked out, you can. On the H1 here, if the body of the candle was to close beneath this zone, so if we had a H1 close, not even a daily close, just an hourly close beneath this demand zone here, then I know that the price will definitely be going short. Now, if the price closes above here, guys, then we're in good sights for a rally to the upside. And we should be looking for the price to be going towards 50, then 52, then to take some higher points. But for now, when I look at Bitcoin from where it is at the moment, if the body of the candle, I repeat, closes beneath this H1 zone and then returns and reoptimizes it as supply, then there is a good chance that the price will be going down to where we're looking at, which is more towards these 32 and even back down here, because there is inefficiency, guys, inevitably that needs to be filled. So Bitcoin has to get here one way or another for the order book to balance. So it's either the market does it now and takes off, which is, painful but better, or the market takes off and does amazing movement and then after comes all the way back down, which I guess in a sense might be better. So I believe the price is going to do this. And so for now, I'm turning my sights to my own portfolio. If I see anything that maybe I bought in at quite a high price or close to the current all-time high, I would personally, for me, I would close those out and then I have to wait for the drop beneath and then rebuy at lower prices. All right. Now, again, there's some scripture. I would say some. How can I put this? There's some cryptocurrencies, guys. All right, that escape what I call Bitcoin's escape velocity. So Bitcoin is kind of not like a black hole in that sense, but Bitcoin is really like a very strong force of gravity that kind of pulls the market down or pushes the market up. If Bitcoin goes up, generally the entire market goes up with it. Okay. Unless a project is actually doing very badly, if Bitcoin is having some green days, then most other altcoins will have green days also. Now, saying that there are exceptions to the rules where there are some cryptocurrencies that have done exceptionally well while Bitcoin is on its way down. And that's due to more isolated fundamentals. So again, as we always say, do your own research. Even though Bitcoin is dropping and it has a market effect essentially over every other crypto, because 40% of the entire market is just Bitcoin when there's about over 10,000 cryptocurrencies. So, and Ethereum's about 20%. And we can just verify that quickly. Let's have a look at CoinMarketCap here. Let me pull it up for you guys. So let's just verify this quickly. So here we go. So Bitcoin dominant. So Bitcoin is a 42% of the entire market, and Ethereum is about 18.8%. So if you put these two together, two cryptocurrencies have approximately 61% of the market. Now, 61% of the market, cryptocurrency, there's about, now this number grows every time I look at it, but at the current phase at where we are, we're well over 10,000 cryptocurrencies. I remember looking at this when there was about 9. So about 3,000 new crypto projects have come into the scene since I've last looked at this properly. And saying that, if two cryptos have 61% of the market share, the other 39% are sharing, over 10,000 cryptos are sharing 39% of this market cap right here. All right. Now, 39% of, let's just call it 2 trillion. Okay, we're looking at approximately 400 billion. So this market is very, very tiny still at the moment, which means there's room for all of you. So if you feel like you've missed crypto, you haven't actually missed it. But again, if Bitcoin is going short and Ethereum is going short, most likely most cryptos will go short. But there was a period of time, for example, I'll give you an example of one that did this, Polygon Matic, okay, during the period of time when Bitcoin was going short. Now, you know what I'll do? I'll pull up TradingView just to show you what I mean. Because at the end of the day, I always like to give two sides to the story. I wouldn't just say, okay, well, sell everything if it drops beneath here, because that's not always the case. Like, for example, Solana had an amazing bull rally whilst a lot of the market wasn't doing as well. Okay. Sometimes you have to, in order for you to time this, you just need to know what's going on. Now, I don't know why I have only Bitfinex. So if I pull up Matic here, I'll use Binance here to launch the chart. And then what I'll do, I'll pull up Bitcoin during the same period of time. So for those of you who know, or you may not know, Matic had a very strong rally here. And let me pull this up here. So here's Bitcoin, all right, on the daily chart. So we have to go back in history to see what's going on here. So Matic, let's go to the daily, see if I can even take this a bit further back. All right, here we go. So let's look at the period here. So here's April. All right. So let's put a vertical line here. So starting off from April here. So the price wasn't doing much. Matic was around 30 cents, 33 cents, good prices at those points. So around by April 24th, and I'm going to pull this up all the way until the highest point that Matic got to so far, or the all-time high, aka. All right. So this range right here. So this period, according to this, is from the 24th of April, 2021 to the 1st of June, 2021. All right. Now, when I go over, all right, to Bitcoin, let's look at those same time stamps. Okay. And this is something that I would like you to do for yourself and just look at this just to see what I'm talking about as to what I'm trying to explain to you. So if we go over here, let's go to April 24th. So April 24th is here. Over to, I believe it was June the 1st. So June the 1st. So May the 30th, a few more days. Here we go. So let's put this together. So here's April. So at that point, Bitcoin was making its first rally up. So we saw the price go from 46K, 46,400, up to the highest point just beneath 60K, all right, before the big drop. Now, we see in May, we had a big drop going on and the price, got down to lows of 29K and even lower down to 28 for a little while. If we look at Matic during that same period of time, Matic jumped from 32 cents and made a new all-time high whilst Bitcoin was crashing. And so this is one case study to explain to you as to what I mean when I say that the market, even though Bitcoin has and Ethereum have massive effect over what the price of most cryptocurrencies will do, there are exceptions to the rule. And this is where doing your own research comes into play, because Matic went from 30, and I'll put it to the day. So the low of that day, let's just move this for a little bit. Let's see what the low of the day of the 24th is. So the low of that day, we're looking at about 30 cents. All right. From 30 cents, the market made a new all-time high of $2. Let's put this here, $2.78. So if we do the maths on that, let's see what happens. So even in a bad time, if you choose correctly and you do your research as you should and don't just rely on what a YouTuber says, you can still survive. Because I mean, when things are going bad, many people in the space are still emotional, because a lot of people that are involved in crypto, unfortunately, have never had any experience with financial markets before. So a lot of people, crypto is the only financial markets they've been involved in. So their emotions are not trained to the point where they can control themselves over major swings in price. Okay. Rather, every time things go bad, they want to sell. Every time things go good, they want to buy, which is not the way to be. Otherwise, you're not really going to make money in this market. But and in essence, $2.78 divided by 30 cents. I'm going to times that by 30 cents, times it by 100, times it by 100 to know how many. Actually, we don't even need to do that. We'll know how many X's are there. So if we do the maths on this, I'm just going to pull up the calculator for you guys to see this. Let's do this live and see. So if I go over to $2.78 here, divided by 0.30. All right. So in essence, from that same period where Bitcoin made a drop, okay, we'll look at the percentage there in a minute. So from that point here, we had a 9.26% X gain. So 9.26 times, or 9, so almost a 10X gain on your money. So if you had picked Matic and you're known for whatever reason, the price had shot up the way it has, then you could have caught a very, very good position on Matic and been able to prosper whilst people were not prospering, if you want to put it that way. Okay, so again, even though that's what I'm saying, when knowledge is too common, I'm not saying this pridefully, but when everybody says the same thing, now there's some things that don't change. For example, Bitcoin has 21 million coins. If someone on YouTube says there's 22, you need to get that guy reported and kick him out of YouTube, because he's not telling the truth. There's some things that are standard within crypto, but then where the other side is when everybody has one-sided bias because they listen to one major guy who says, it kind of becomes the educational system for everybody. And so everybody speaks the same, analyzes the same, which can even be dangerous, because institutional investors are always looking for patterns. They have algorithms looking for patterns, specifically buying and selling patterns. And if everybody's taking the same education, doing the same thing, then it's going to be easy for them to be able to trap you in bad positions where you buy a crypto at the wrong time. So you have to have a diversification of study, and most importantly, do your own. Okay, so let's have a look and see what's going on here. So for me, if we look at what we had here, if you bought Bitcoin at, at this price point here, at the lowest point, so 46,960, and the price dropped down to where it got to, which is here, about 30, let's call it 29.30. Let's get the calculator out, calculator. So just to get the picture of what's going on here. So even if we took it from the bottom, let's say we bought at the highest point, so 59, about 956, something like that. 942. Okay, so let's get this 9, 4, and divided by the lowest point, which is just underneath 30K. All right. Now, because the price has gone from down to up, we're going to have to do the other way. So 29,956. Oops. That's one thing that I hope that Bitcoin price gets to that number, but let's see. So 29986, okay, divided by what we have here, 59559. Okay. I don't know what I just did there, but the maths has gone crazy. But you know what? Let's do it one more time. 59456. It's all right. I can do the inverse. I've done it the other way around, but it's okay. 9956, something like that. So it's 1. So if we do the inverse of that, all right, it's okay. Messing up the steps today, just for one simple calculation. All right, we'll get it the right way this time. Here we go. So in essence, really, you would have had close to a 50%, well, just less than a 50% loss, you know, on your money during the time when you could have had a 900%, or 926% gain. So don't just look at Bitcoin and say the world is over. Okay, Bitcoin also has its own fundamentals that, you know, if you've noticed in the market, sometimes Bitcoin has days where it does higher percentage than everything else. Okay, so there are different reasons for that. So don't just take it as though because Bitcoin is going to sell off that you should sell all your cryptos, because you'd be very deceived to do that. It takes a lot more decision than just looking at Bitcoin going short and then after saying, okay, I'm going to sell too. Okay. And sometimes it's just best to hodl, but that's for you to decide at the end. So, you know, looking at what we have here, this is Monday. So I like to let the market sit and rather just focus on what Bitcoin is doing and the rest of the stuff that the market. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment below.